Hello and welcome to week 10, creating vision and strategic direction. Before we jump into today's material, here's a brief overview of what we have remaining for the course. Just a handful of weeks here. So today, in addition to going over the material in chapter 13, you also have your group proposal due. The final paper is due on the 12th. It is no longer a presentation, it is a research paper. I feel like that's just better type of assessment given the current mode we're delivering the class in. It'll be a lot easier, I think, facilitating a group paper than it will be creating a presentation. So that's a little bit of reasoning behind that. And then week 13, we will have the final exam, and that will be material from week 8 to week 12. I'll go through a bit more detail as we get closer to the final there. So learning objectives today, we're going to go through the relationship of vision, mission, strategy, and mechanisms for execution, how you really carry out that larger vision. We're going to talk a little bit about personal leadership vision, what makes powerful visions, describe the 4 basic approaches to framing a noble purpose, understanding how leaders formulate and implement strategy, and applying the elements of effective strategy. So, strategic leadership is just the ability to anticipate and envision the future. And then, based on that, you're going to initiate change just to put the organization or company you're working for in the best possible position. So, when you're looking at vision, which is like the larger picture, if you have someone who has a high vision but very low action, we call that type of person a dreamer because although they have maybe a very clear picture in their head, not much is happening. And then on the other end of the spectrum, if you have very low vision but a high degree of action, we call that type of person the doer. So you want to be a little bit of both, right? You want a high degree of vision and a high degree of action, and that is what makes you an effective leader. So the domain of strategic leadership. So this is how vision, mission, strategy, and mechanisms of execution are carried out. And you start at the top, and you really have to figure out where is our organization or the industry heading. After that, you have to define who you are within that vision. Figure out, okay, now we have a vision and a mission. How do we go about getting there? And then what can be done right now in order to move a little bit closer to that vision? So strategic leaderships, these are the type of skills they need to anticipate threats and opportunities, to challenge the status quo, interpret trends, and achieve alignment. Vision is an attractive, ideal future that is credible yet not readily attainable. So it's a little bit of a stretch. You're saying this is where I want to go, but it's going to take a little bit of work to get there. Examples of brief vision statements: at the top, we have Apple, to make a contribution to the world by making tools for the mind that advance humankind. And then all the way at the bottom there, United Way, improve lives by mobilizing the caring power of communities. You can see how drastically different those two visions are. But there are some examples. Here's a great diagram that outlines the difference between having a strong vision and not having one. So you look at the current reality on the left-hand side of this diagram, and if you stay course, you'll see that flat trajectory. You're not kind of getting anywhere. And if you have a vision, you're going to move towards that desired future on the other hand, right? You're going to increase in maybe market share or the efficiency of the organization, or really tackle maybe the problem or product or solution you're trying to solve or bring to the market. What does vision do? It links the present to the future. It energizes people and really focuses their attention within the organization, gives work meaning, and establishes a standard of excellence and integrity. Common themes of the vision is they have a broad appeal, deals with some sort of change. They reflect high ideals and defines the destination and the journey, kind of where you want to go and how to get there. Self-reference, a principle stating that each element in a system will serve the goals of the whole system, and when the elements are imprinted with an understanding of the whole. So leader steps to creating a vision. So if you have no vision for the organization, this is how you go about designing one. You want to target an ideal future or a desired future. You want to co-create the vision, have people within the organization to contribute to it, and identify the strengths of the organization. You want to write a couple drafts, like a good paper. It's going to take you a couple of rounds to really come up with a good one. Solicit feedback. Another way of saying that is survey the people you're working with and get feedback that way. And then share the vision with the organization and the community as a whole. So a mission, the organization's core, broad purpose, and reason for existence. That's what a mission is. What a mission does, it defines the enduring character of an organization, draws people to an organization, and motivates workers. Parts of a mission, there's core values, there's core purpose, there's a core value, and the core purpose are frequently expressed in that mission statement. So each organization differs. Each organization will have different core values and core purposes. The point of this slide is that the mission often has both of those elements embedded in the broader mission statement. What difference does a mission make? Here's a good diagram that outlines the difference between having a strong mission that everyone agrees to versus a mission that may be weak or the majority of people don't. So if you go down this bar, you can see just the first question alone are engaged with work. You can see that 60% of people who have a strong mission are, where if you don't have a mission or you disagree with it, 0%. Plan to stay with the company, 82% versus 27%, and so on and so forth. You can see how having a strong mission really impacts how people think about their organization and company they work with and how motivated they are to do a good job. Aflac's mission and values. So here's a good example, real life example of mission and values. You can see here we pledge to be there for our policyholders in their time of need. And that is their mission, and then it's followed by their values. Building better value for our shareholders, supplying quality service for our agents, providing an enriching and rewarding workplace for our employees. That is their goal. A leader's framework for noble purpose. Depending on the organization, you're going to have a different noble purpose. You can see discovery, excellence, altruism, and heroism, and how their basic action differs depending on what their noble purpose is. And it even gives examples of organizations that have different noble purposes and how those might look a little bit differently in the way they're organized. Now, strategic management is more about how you formulate and implement a plan to achieve your mission or achieve your goals. This is more about the details and how to implement specific strategies in the organization to achieve what they're trying to do through the mission and the vision. So strategy is a general plan of action for dealing with the environment and helping the organization attain those goals. Developing effective strategy, you need to actively listen, examine the trends, study past events, use analysis, and shift strategy as needed. Just because you come up with a vision or a mission, it doesn't mean the strategy for implementing those things is always going to be the same. As the market changes, as our world continues to change and shift, so will your strategy. Elements of a strategy. Core competence, something the organization does extremely well. Synergy, the interaction of the organizational parts. Value, the combination of benefits received and the cost paid to the customer. Strategic formalization and execution. In the formalization, you're integrating the knowledge of the environment, the vision, the mission, all of those core competencies together. And the strategic execution is putting that strategy into action by adjusting various parts of the organization and directing the resources towards accomplishing those strategic goals. Tools for strategy execution. Create ongoing communication. That is critical in any successful organization. You need to be communicating well. Teach the why. So why are you doing this? Why are you going to work every day? Why are you spending all these hours working on a certain initiative? How does it fit into the bigger picture is a huge piece to help keep people motivated and engaged. Explain what this new thing means to each person. Everyone needs to know what's going on. Like I said, when they know that, they feel more connected within the organization and motivated to achieve both the mission and vision. And tell people what is not changing, what is staying the same, because often change makes people nervous. So making strategic decisions, again, they love these diagrams and the high and the low and the easy and the hard. And on the left-hand side, we have strategic impact. And on the top, we have ease of execution. And you can see that if you have a very low strategic impact and the execution is hard, there's very little impact. And then on the other side of the diagram, if you have a high degree of strategic impact and it's easy to implement, these are simple changes that have a high degree of impact, and you want to take action first. So depending on the initiative and how hard it is to execute, your strategy may change. And you may have a different type of organization in which maybe some things it's very hard to change things. Even though it has a high degree of strategic impact, and major changes will actually be implemented and create a better company. It all depends on the organization you have, and how you make strategic decisions within that organization. Okay, so that was a brief overview, really straightforward chapter, just really going through what is a mission, vision, and then strategic plan, like how do you get to where you want to go. So it's nice to have a lighter chapter here. I'm sure that you appreciate having a little less content. Please complete the chapter quiz as always, and reach out if you have any questions.